Namibia's long-term foreign currency has been downgraded to junk status by Fitch ratings agency. It attributed the downgrade to a weak economic growth and an increase in outstanding debt levels from 16 billion to 70 billion. This follows Moody's downgrade in August this year.
It's not always the case, or I think in most countries, there is usually a deficit because there's not enough from the revenue side to cater for expenditure. So in order to finance this excess expenditure, governments end up having to borrow. So ratings agencies basically give an assessment of the credit worthiness of a country. Because when these countries borrow, sometimes there's always a portion of the borrowing that is domestic, that comes from domestic companies, domestic sources, and then a portion of borrowing also comes from foreign sources. So ratings like from Fitch, from Moody's, mostly communicate to foreign creditors about the status of Namibia's creditworthiness, the Namibian government's creditworthiness. How it ends up impacting us is basically the lower your credit rating, which means the lower your creditworthiness in the view of the international community, the more incentive you need to give the international companies or even other governments in order to loan us funds for our government's expenditure.
Fitch also highlighted in its report that the upcoming Congress of the SWAPO party on Thursday is a source of uncertainty, as it is likely to lead to a government reshuffle.
This is completely justified, this downgrade, when it comes to this infighting, because it's not that clear which camp is going to be successful at the moment. And should the other camp, not the Gaingo camp, but the other camp, take control of SWAPO now in the Congress, we believe that the long-term outlook for the economy will deteriorate quite a lot, and we believe that Fitch was right to reflect this in their rating.
Since mid-last year, Namibia has been downgraded by rating agencies several times. We spoke to the former Chief Executive Officer of the Namibia Chamber of Commerce and Industry, Tarah, Shaanika, to find out how this is perceived by foreign investors.
Ratings, of course, are very important because they somehow create perceptions in the eyes of investors and financiers and other people out there, and even the business community. When you say we are downgrading Namibia almost into a junk state, you are really creating this impression. Although I also think that sometimes rating of countries is overrated sometimes. It doesn't reflect the reality on the ground, and sometimes we then react in a manner that could harm the economy more.
In August this year, Moody's ratings agency downgraded Namibia's long-term senior unsecured bond and issuer ratings to junk status as well. The news was not well received by government and the business sector, who felt that it does not truly reflect what is on the ground. This month, officials from Moody's are expected to visit Namibia to familiarize and assess the situation of the country.